I'm back, and today we're going to be doing the recap of Day 2 of the NHL's free agency. It's going to basically cover the free agency and the trades and that stuff, and the hockey news. Okay, so first up is the Oilers have signed Tyson Barrie to a one-year, $3.75 million contract. Barrie is a good defensive, player, and he was dealt from the Avalanche to the Maple Leafs last offseason, and he struggled under Mike Babcock. Okay, so I'm back. I had to go for a second to do something. And he struggled under Babcock, but he was more productive with the club when they replaced him as a head coach. And it was a down year compared to his previous seasons, but despite the dip in points, Barrie turned down at least one offer for $6 million per season. So Edmonton is getting Tyson Barrie. Next up, the Nashville Predators have signed Craig Smith. The Bruins, not the Predators, have signed Craig Smith to a 3-year, $9.3 million contract. Smith is 31, and he spent his entire 9-year career with the Predators, and now he has a 6'1" winger, and he can play up and down the lineup and add needed depth of scoring to the team. I think that 3 years, maybe a little too much, maybe go 2 years, go a little bit less on the monetary side, maybe go those 2 years, 4-point-something million. That sounds about right for services. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the Colorado Avalanche have signed Andrei Berkowski to a 2-year, $9.8 million contract. And he was a restricted free agent with the Colorado Avalanche. And the average annual value is going to be $4.9 million. The terms weren't officially disclosed, but that's what is being reported by everybody. And Berkowski was traded to the Avs from the Washington Capitals last summer, and he had a career season in his debut with Colorado, registering 20 goals and 25 assists in 58 games before the pause. Good signing. Maybe a little too much money. Let's move on to the next signing. Okay, so Stetcher. The Detroit Red Wings have signed defenseman Troy Stetcher to a 2-year contract, and the deal is worth $3.4 million. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a lot about Stetcher, but he's 26 years old, so maybe give him a 3-year deal because he's not, that old. And he did not receive a qualifying offer from Vancouver after his 2-year, $4.65 million pact with the club had expired at the end of the season. He is 5'10", so definitely on the smaller side of the players in the league. And he recorded 5 goals, 17 points, while ranking 4th in the Canucks lineup with 70 block shots through 69 games in the 1920 season. And the Red Wings also added netminder Thomas Greiss with a 2-year, $7.2 million contract earlier today. Basically, I love the Greiss signing. I think he's a really great goaltender to kind of, take the reins from Howard and be the starter. In the 2 years, that's really great because, let's be honest, Greiss is getting up there in their age. And 7.2, that may be a little bit much, but honestly, I think Greiss will be worth it in the end because he's such a good goaltender. He was just lights out with his last few teams. So, I really like the Greiss signing. Can't really say that much on Stetcher. Okay, so the Minnesota Wild have signed Jordan Greenway to a 2-year, $4.2 million deal. I like this. They're probably underpaying him because Greenway is such a great player, great at blocking shots, and just all around a good player to have on a roster. He is 23, and he was a second-round pick in 2015, so he was the only RFA on the Wild's books, and they just signed him, so now they have no one really else to sign in the RFA, part. So I really like the signing. They're probably underpaying him, and I think maybe they could go about 3 or 4 years, maybe, on the years for his deal. With that being said, let's move on to the next signing. Okay, Tyler Johnson from the Tampa Bay Lightning has cleared his waivers for the buyout, and he was unclaimed by anybody. Not surprising. He had a really good contract. Now he's an unrestricted free agent and can sign anywhere. I expect him not to be on the market that long. So let's see where he signs, and whoever signs him is going to be getting a really good two-way center who can also score and pass the puck. Just really good. Okay, this just now came in. The Blue Jackets have signed now former Wild captain Mako Koivu to a 1-year deal, and the deal is roughly worth $1.5 million. That's a good 1-year deal for him. He is definitely getting up there in age. I'm not going to deny that, but he's a great veteran leader. Well, he's a great veteran to have, and a great presence and a great leader. I love this signing by the Blue Jackets, adding that veteran leadership to, let's be honest, that young core needs some leadership. They have made the playoffs and they did a little bit less than what I wanted them to do last season. In the play-in round, they beat Toronto, but then I believe they got swept by the eventual champion Lightning. So I think that having a good leadership in that core to kind of show them the way and be a good presence on the ice, while also maybe putting up a few points here and there, is just a great thing to do. I love the signing. Good job, Blue Jackets. Welcome to Columbus, Corbin. Okay, so also these are some that I missed from yesterday. The Buffalo Sabres have signed defenseman Brandon Davidson to a 1-year contract with an average annual value of $700,000. I like the signing. Davidson's really good on the blue line, and they just signed him for relatively cheap so that they can have a little bit more cap space to sign everybody else that they need to sign. They have a lot of restricted free agents out there, so I like the signing. And they have also signed defenseman Matt Irwin to a 1-year contract with an average annual value of $700,000 as well. I like this. Irwin's also great defensively. And as you can probably tell right now, Buffalo is adding to their blue line. They really want to enhance that blue line and become better. They have a lot of scoring right now. Well, they don't have a lot of scoring, but they have enough scoring that if they have a good blue line, then they can definitely come in playoff. I'm not going to say playoff contender, but they can definitely make the playoffs if they try. So I like the signing of them. Welcome to Buffalo, you two. Also, this is not NHL-wise, but this is an ECHL, not a signing, but most teams will be getting their season on January 15th. Some are starting a little bit earlier than that, but the Atlanta Gladiators will not be starting their season at all. They have elected to go into volunteer suspension for this one season, and it's because of COVID. That's what they said. So that's some ECHL news that you guys might want to know. Especially if you're an ECHL fan like me. Like, I have season tickets to my local ECHL team's games. I don't know how that's going to work, but I hope I can be there in person. But if not... Okay, so the Winnipeg Jets have signed Nate Thompson, who's a forward, I believe, to a 1-year contract worth $750,000. Good cheap. I believe that Thompson, I don't know a lot about him, but I do believe that he is a good sized presence, pretty physical player. I like the signing by the Jets. Next signing is Mike Smith has re-signed with the Oilers on a one-year $2 million deal. I think maybe a little bit of underpayment here, but the contract's good. Probably a little bit more if he could want to, but he's 38, so a 1-year $2 million, it makes sense for him. He's really big, he's really good, and he's a veteran goaltender, so he's very valuable in that esteemed asset. in that esteem. I mean, not Aston. I don't know what the fucking Aston is. Okay, so next is the Dallas Stars signed Mark Pysyk to a one-year contract, and it's worth $750,000. I like his pick. He's relatively young. He's not like young, but he's relatively young in sense of the other guys we see getting signed these past 2 days. He has split his 8-year career between the Sabres and the Panthers. And the past season he had he has notched 18 points in 58 games. He's only 28, so he has maybe 2, 3, 4 years before you have to think about retirement and giving him lower contracts. I like the signing. It's really, really good. And I want the Stars to completely add a lot of good scorers. Just add a lot of people that can help them get that cup. I really want to see them. They were my cup favorites. Well, not my cup favorites, but they were who I wanted to win the cup this year. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So, I want them to, add as many people as possible to try and get back and win. Okay, so in AHL news, the Hartford Wolfpack have signed forward Paul Thompson to a one-year AHL contract. He wore the captaincy for the Springfield Thunderbirds in the past seasons. I really have nothing to say. This is an AHL contract. I'd like to see him succeed, definitely, but it's an AHL contract, so not really much else to say. Okay, so forward Curtis Mckenzie has signed with the St. Louis Blues, and it's a one-year, two-way contract. Let me get the amount of money for you. Let's see it. It doesn't really say money. It just says, yeah, it doesn't really say money. Sorry. Okay, next up is Cameron Schnelling. He's the defenseman. He went from the Jets to the Capitals. Let's try and get those details. It's a one-year, two-way contract, and he's making $700,000 for that 1 year. Okay, Frederick Gaudreau has went from the Nashville Predators to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's get those details. Okay, so Gaudreau is on a 1 year, two-way, $700,000 contract, and Penguins have also signed Frederick Gaudreau, I'm stupid. Maxim Legase to a 1 year, two-way contract at the same amount of money. I like the signing. Gaudreau, I watched him play in Cincinnati. I'm a personal fan of his. I love him. He shows that if you work hard, you can get to the NHL. And I believe that he was an overtime hero just a few days ago, not a few years ago, and he was instrumental in getting the Nashville Predators to the Stanley Cup Final, where they eventually lost to the Penguins. Ironic, I know, because he just signed with them now. But, I love this signing. Not really that much on Legase, other than it's a goaltending prospect for them. But I believe that they already have a lot of really good goaltenders in their system, and that they don't need any more. So it's just, too many goalies in that system now. Okay, so the Ducks signed Chase DeLeo to 1 year, two-way contract extension. And defenseman Andy Wolnowski to a 1 year, two-way contract, and right wing Andrew Pontarowski to and Vinny Latari to 1 year, two-way contracts as well. Well, DeLeo is on a two-way contract, but defenseman Wolowski is on a one-way contract. Okay, so those are the signings by the Ducks. I really don't have that much to say about them. I don't know a lot. I believe that these are mainly just depth signings, depth signings. So hopefully it works out well for them, and they can get their, money's worth out of it. Okay, we have another one. Johan Larsson has signed with the Arizona Coyotes on a two-way, not two-way, yeah, making a lot of mistake here, on a 2-year, $2.8 million contract. I like the signing for the 2 years. However, I believe that the contract, money-wise, is definitely bloated up a little bit more than it should be. I think that maybe 2.5 max. I would probably go 1.5 to 2. Maybe max of 2.5 would be sufficient for him. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I think that, he's not quite to the $2.8 million contract for that. Larson was a second-round pick of the Minnesota Wild in 2010, but he only played one game with the franchise before spending the next 7 seasons with the Buffalo Sabres. He is 28, and this past season he had 18 points across 62 contests. So I believe that the points aren't there to justify that 2.8 million. However, it's a contract I can't really do much about other than, kind of bash it as in being a bad contract. So let's move on to the next signings. Okay, we have another signing here. The Sharks have signed Kevin LeBlanc to a 4-year contract extension, and the deal carries a $4.72 million average annual average value, however you want to say it. But I think this is a great contract. LeBlanc's really great, and I think that also that's the money he's worth. Just a great contract handing him. Okay, so the Los Angeles Kings have signed defenseman Mark Alt and goaltender Troy Gonzik. Alt, they both got 1-year contracts, and they both have 2-way deals. Having a average value of $700,000. Alt is a 6'4", 205-pound defenseman, and he was the captain of the Eagles last year, and he's coming from Colorado. And they have signed a goaltender who the picture is from. He spent the last season with the Milwaukee Admirals of the AHL, posting a 20 wins, 9 losses, and 3 overtime losses record, and a 2.29 goals against average, and I hit that cut sometimes, but I love it. And a 9.20 save percentage. And he also won AHL Man of the Year that year for his effort in the community. So he's good netminder, definitely, and it looks like he had a goalie fight last year too. I like the signing. Some good goaltending depth coming to LA. Okay, so the Ottawa Senators have acquired Austin Watson from the Nashville Predators. Not in a trade, but he signed with them. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh wait, no, it is a trade. They acquired Austin Watson from the Predators in exchange for the Senators previously acquired from Colorado 4th-round selection in the 2021 draft. I like this trade. Watson is a very solid player. He's been playing on like the 3rd or 4th line with Nashville the past few years. I think that he's ready for like that second line kind of winging duties. We'll see how it goes, but I think that he's going to do really well, and I hope he does do really well with the Ottawa Senators. Okay, some more signings. I have to find them. I'll just go this way. Okay, so the Carolina Hurricanes have signed Jasper Fast a 3-year, $6 million deal. And it's carrying an annual cap hit of $2 million. I like that. Fast is a really good. Okay, the Sabres have signed Cody Eakin to a 2-year deal with an average annual value of 2.25. I like the signing. Eakin's very solid, and he's some more depth down the middle. I also believe that he can add some really good scoring to that Buffalo forwards. So let's move on to the next one. The Flames have signed goaltender Louis Dominic. Let's see the actual deal here. The Flames have signed Louis Dominic to a 1-year, 2-way contract with an average annual value of $700,000. I like this. Louis is a really great goaltender, and he's just gonna elevate that Calgary team.